Hey everyone, welcome to On the Great Couch. I'm Carmen.
I'm Karen from the Run List.
And I'm Chris from China Uncensored.
So a lot of you have gave us feedback, and so we're going to keep the 10-minute format. And our first video is a video that's viral on Youku that shows the treatments of the different types of foreigners. So the different types of foreigners, one is 外国人 and one is 外地人. So 外国人 is basically your typical white guy.
老外.
老外.
Out of the country.
Like this one. And 外地人 is basically, it's talking about Beijing though, like anyone outside of Beijing.
I mean, China's huge, so
yeah. So a lot of people come from outside of Beijing to go work there. There are about like 200,000 Laowais. You can't say Laowai because they both call them both Laowai. So 外国人, there's 200,000, and 外地人, there's 8 million of them. And basically, they're saying that in the video, they're saying that the 外国人 has supranational treatment. They get
supranational.
Supranational. They get very good, like they get to purchase a home. They have tax cuts. They get to go to Gaokao. They have education for the kids.
Basically, like
multiple children.
Saying Chinese people are racist against themselves.
Yes. Well, basically, they're saying in the video, they're saying that they are worshipping white people.
Basically, the laws don't apply to us. Seems like we can.
Or you get it much better than everyone else.
Yeah, we can have as many kids as we want.
Yeah, under the one child
and they'll get
policy.
Education. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Maybe I should look into moving to Beijing.
Well, that's what the netizens are complaining about, but actually the white people that do live in China are saying that this is BS.
What did they say?
Oh, really?
Yeah, they said that the tax cuts, yes, they do exist, but it's not really true. They have to jump through like so many loopholes and like visas and all that stuff to make things work. And also, it's not like they're gonna buy a house. They don't plan to live there.
That's true.
And also, they get a lot of racist comments.
Like what?
Like if they go take a taxi, go to a restaurant, whatever, they have to pay a premium.
I mean, white people have to be rich, so if you're white, then they'll charge you extra, right?
They will see you, hey, because you're a white guy, they'll charge you extra.
And they assume, oh, you're getting all these cuts. It might not actually be true.
And they hate you, basically. They said that in Beijing, it's hard to even hail a taxi.
As a white guy?
As a white guy.
Wow.
That's how, so I don't know.
I thought they had it good there.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to move there anymore.
But I know for a fact that 外地人, like outside of Beijing or outside whatever city you are treated really badly as well. Because they get, if they're in another city that they're not from, like the hukou is not there, then they don't get any benefits. They don't get like, medical or education or insurance or anything, social anything, or social security. So they're treated even like really, really badly. I'm gonna tell you a story. Actually, when I was a kid, I went to I was in China. I was on the way to visit my grandparents, so we were driving overnight. So we stopped at a hotel, and then that hotel caught on fire that night. So we all ran outside, and the dance girls are not from that same city, so they just left them lying there.
Oh my God!
While they treated the people who are from the same city. So they took out the ID and say, "Hey, you're not from here." So that was like my personal experience as a kid. Like I actually didn't really, my parents didn't want to like have me see it, but like I knew that happened.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's also, I think it's because they were dance girls. Like recently there's a story about a famous Chinese general's son was involved in like a gang rape of like sort of like a dance girl as well. And like this professor was like, well, it's not that bad that it was like a dance girl versus a respectable girl.
Apparently because they react differently, because they're different women, which is complete bull.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, this kind of makes me sad because it really teaches people to value human life differently based on who you are or where you're from, which shouldn't
like
really be the case.
Like, class-based thing.
Yeah.
Like, well, class-based, like obviously skin color, where you're from, and where you're born, basically, because your hukou is where you're born and where your parents are born. If you're born in the country, then you cannot enjoy the benefits of a city folk.
Yeah.
I guess really the best thing to be in China is Xi Jinping, I guess. She's the man.
Yes. Well, tell us what you think. Do you know any stories about, if 外国人 or 外地人 are treated differently? Give comments below. The next story is, it's also about different races. Hong Kong women apparently the most pessimistic compared to Taiwanese and mainland women.
Would you call that a different race?
Well, different.
We would though, like we would see them as different.
So
like
racist.
Taiwanese people are Taiwanese people, Chinese people are Chinese people,
this
Cantonese
is
people are Cantonese people.
This is gonna spark another one of the Taiwan versus China things.
Are we all human
because
beings?
I grew up in Taiwan, and when people ask me if I'm Chinese, I'm always like, yeah, but I'm from Taiwan.
I've noticed that some people are kind of militant about it. Like, no, I'm Taiwanese.
Well, I don't mind. I
Chinese.
still think
Whoa.
like I'm Chinese. I'm ethnically Chinese. I was just born in Taiwan. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, so they did a study on 11,500 people across 26 cities in Hong Kong, mainland, and Taiwan, and found out that Hong Kong women are all much more pessimistic than mainland and Taiwanese women.
Why is that?
Yeah.
I think because in Hong Kong, apparently there's like a glass ceiling for your career. You can't break through that. And a lot of them, they just want to go into certain fields. Whereas in mainland, apparently there's more opportunities for other areas. And in Taiwan, they don't care as much about careers.
They're happy being moms at home.
I don't know like who they interviewed though. Like in mainland, who they interview.
That's true.
Because like I'm pretty sure a lot of these girls are like factory workers.
Yeah,
or, like,
it'll be hard for them.
They don't go anywhere. They just stay in the factory their entire life.
Probably not YD Ren.
But maybe they're like resigned to the fact that they're going to be a factory girl, so they don't really have that high expectation, so they're not as depressed. Whereas maybe for Hong Kong women, they have that goal, but they feel like they can't get there. So don't aim high.
Is that the lesson?
Wow.
Wow, you're pessimistic. Are you from Hong Kong?
I was from
Karen,
Taiwan.
am I rubbing off on you?
Well, I don't know.
Who did they interview? I'm really curious about that. It seems like
This is a
there could be some statistical bias in this report.
okay. This is a communications agency called Starcom Media Vest. So they basically do these researches to see how to advertise to these women.
But I do agree with you that I think there is less pressure for Taiwanese women to really be go-getters.
Yes.
They are happy, to settle into the family life once they have a child. So maybe
Actually,
yeah.
for me, growing up, even though my parents never pressure me, but I had a really high expectation for myself that even if I do have kids, I want to go back to work. I want to be working.
I've always just wanted to be a mom.
So I see that's the difference here. Okay. You guys tell us if you're from Hong Kong, Taiwan, or mainland. If you have any experiences, how do you feel about you growing up there? If you have any with your work, with your relationship with your children, if you have any relationship with your mothers. Moving on, our hashtag AskOTGW question is from Esme Curtis. So when learning Chinese, what is the most important thing to have? I would like to do a Chinese degree and I'm not sure what to look for. Well, just assume that she meant Chinese as in the language. I guess you're learning Chinese.
Yeah, I probably have the most insight. I mean, the most important thing to start off is like learn the tones, learn the pinyin, how the pinyin is pronounced. Pinyin is how you Romanize Chinese characters, like writing it out with an alphabet. So that is like the most important thing to get down so you can actually start learning the language.
Any tips?
I think I would immerse myself with other Chinese people because you really want to be in that language, like speak with people a lot and listen to the language and practice a lot. That to me is the easiest way. So like when I was learning English back in Taiwan, it was difficult. You can't learn a language unless you're in that environment, and once we moved overseas, it was much easier to pick up. So find that environment where you can be surrounded by Chinese people all the time.
Yeah, actually, Karen does a Learn Chinese channel. So check out Karen's Learn Chinese channel. I'm going to put a link down there. And for me, I actually learned Cantonese first. Well, and then I learned English, and then I learned Mandarin. So for me, a lot of the times I'm watching TV, listening to songs. But main thing is that you need to practice a lot. As right now, I still read an hour a day.
In Mandarin?
Yes, in Mandarin. Actually, I think my Cantonese is slipping because I hang out with more Mandarin people now than Cantonese people. But after I hung out with like Mandarin people, my Mandarin actually accelerated a lot. It was much better. And I used to have a much, much, much thicker Cantonese,
Accent. Yeah, your accent is much
Cantonese
less now.
Mandarin accent.
Yeah, immersion really is the
Yeah.
most important thing.
Yeah. So if you're looking to learn Chinese, then you should make more Chinese friends and talk to them. Okay. I think that's it. Wow, this week is boring.